Hello students, we are discussing here the chapter number 7 of the class 6. The name of this chapter is Getting to Know Plants. So this is our second class, and in the first class we had already discussed the different type of the plants. We classify them into the three groups, and what are those three groups? Herbs, shrubs and the trees. According to their size we classify them. And in today's class we will be trying to understand the different part of the plants. So we will be see the structures and we will be try to classify them. So firstly you will be see here the picture of the plants, the part of a plants, and we will be classify them into the two groups or the two systems. So generally we classify into the two systems. One is known as the shoot systems, second is the root systems. So what is the shoot systems? Those part of the plants which are rise above the earth's surface, that will be known the shoot system. All these plants which we can see, and the root systems which will be grown up under the soils, like these root part, that will be known the root systems. So in the root system you will be see only the root part of the plant, plants will be present. But in the shoot systems, there you will be see the flower, leaf, fruits and the stems. Different part will be the present. So in this chapters we will be discuss one by one. Firstly we will start from the root systems. So what are the root and what are the major function of the root? So you will be see the first function of the root. The first, roots anchor the plant of the soil. If you will be see here, root anchor the plant of the soil. What is the meaning of the anchor? Roots hold the soils fixed together and it gives the support. As you know that the root fix the plant firmly to the soils and it prevent the plants from the another factors. As we know that अगर हवा तेज चलेगी या पानी तेज चलेगा तो plants can be easily blown up or it can be easily destroyed. But the roots give the strongness. Root give the support, okay, to the plants. And the second you will be see the root absorb the water and minerals from the soil, because fruits plants require some minerals and the water for making the food substances, and we know that will be absorbed by only the root, and that is the major function of the root. And third you will be see the root help in the holding the soil together. It also help in the holding the soils. As we know, if the soil will not be held together, so it can be easily washed out if the heavy rain or if the heavy wind will be blowing. अगर तेज हवा या तेज पानी अगर बहेगा तो soil सभी बह जाएगी. And the holding process is generally done by the root systems. Root is hold together the soil particles. That are the major function of the roots. Now we will be try to classify them. The type of the roots, we will be classify them into the two groups. One is the taproot, second is the fibrous root. You will be see the both picture is given here. One is the taproot, second is the fibrous root. So what are the major difference between them? You will be say they have a major root. This is the major root that is known as the taproot, and through this major root you will be find some branches of the roots. So this is the branches through the major root, that is known the taproot, and taproots give the strongness to the plant. You have to remember that help in the extracting the taproot roots and it's grow the vertically down. You have to remember that taproots will be grown vertically to downs and it is strong. It gives the strong structure to the plants. In the case of fibers, they have a fiber type of the roots. They have a very tiny, very thin roots. They do not give the proper strongness to the plants because they have not any main root. They have not any major root. So those plants which has a fibrous roots, they are very small. They can be easily bent out. They can be easily break out during the heavy wind or heavy rainfalls. So I think you got the meaning of most of the trees, most of the shrubs, they are made by the taproot, but most of the herbs, they have a fibrous root. If you will be see here, these trees are the large and they are very strong. That is also strong. That are the shrubs and that are the trees. They generally have the taproot because that gives the strongness, and only few plant of the herbs they have the taproot, but large number of the herbs has the fibrous roots. Okay, only few. I am writing here the few plant of the herbs has a taproot, but the large number of the herbs has fibrous roots. So I think you will be see the fibrous roots and the taproots. There are some example is given, and I will be say you what are those example. Like the pea plant, you know, that is the small plant that is come in the herbs category, and neems, mango, marigold, tulsi, gram, carrot, radish, beet, turnip. All these plants have a taproot, a strong roots. And in the case of fibrous, you will be see like the wheat, paddy, grass, maize, millet, bamboo, sugarcane, sweet potato. They have the fibrous roots. Okay, so fibrous roots have a very small and similar size structures. They are those their plant does not grow strongly. Okay, so I think you got the meaning of it. Yes. Now we will be see the structure of the stems. Stems, as we know that the stem is the strongest part of the plants, that is the grown up vertically from the ground up, and we know this is the first part from the ground source, and this is the strongest part, and they have a major functions in the plant's growth. We will be see there are some function is given here. The first function, the stems hold the plants upright because it gives the strongness, it gives its support in the holding the plants. And second, you will be see the stem of the plants carry the minerals and water from the roots to the leaves and the other part of the plants. As we know, roots function is to absorbing the essential nutrients, essential minerals and waters, and they will be carried out by these plants stems. This stems has some kind of the tubes, some capillaries. They help in the transporting the essential waters and the minerals, and they will be carried out to the leaves. You will be see here, and they will be also carry out to the another part of the plant. And third function, you will be see the stem carry the prepared food from the leaves to the another part of the plants. We know leaves will be carry out the photosynthesis, they will be make the food substance, and food is required by the all plant structures, and this food substance will also transported by these stems. Stems has some small capillary which also help in the transported this food substance. This food substance will be transported to other part as well as root part of the plants. And fourth function, you will be see the stems hold the leaves in such way that leaves are able to get the plenty of the sunlight. As we know that stems will be grown up, then it will be provide the large area to the leaves. After that, they will be get the proper amount of the sunlight. They help in the making of food substance by the photosynthesis. If they will be get the proper amount of the sunlight, they will be make the more food. So it's helping in the preparing foods to get the plenty amount of the sunlight. So this is the major function of the stems. I think you got the meaning of it. Now we will be discuss the leaves. As you know that the leaves is the thin, broad and flattened in the surface, and this is the green part of the plant, and they are directly attached to the stems or the branch. And generally we call the leaf is for the single words or single leaves, and if we talk about the plurals, it will become the leaves. Leaves are the plural word of the leaves. And leaves of the different plants have the different size and different structures, but they all have the one thing is common. What is those common things? They have a basic structures will be the same. The leaf consists by the majorly two parts. One is known the lamina, second is known as the petioles. What are the lamina and what are the petioles? We will be see this is the structures of the leaves, and all these green plants, if I will make the green plants, that will be known as the lamina. All these green plants here, this which I make the green plants, that will be known the lamina, that is also known as the leaf blade. But there are also some structures, that is vein type of the structures, and this veiny type of the structures, this vein type structures is known the petiole or the leaf stalks, and that is also present in these leaves. This one, there are very small branches of the veins, and that is also known as the petioles. So you have to remember the large number of the veins is spread out in the leaves, and these mid ribs or mid veins, that will be known as the mid veins or mid rib, and this is the smaller veins, that will be known the only veins. So you will be see here there are some functions of the leaves. We know leaves contains the chlorophylls, and chlorophylls is a green color pigment, and it helps in the making of food substance for the plants. So they have some major functions. One is the leaves makes the food for the plants. So all the food making process by the plants, that will be done in the leaves, and that will be done by the photosynthesis process. And second functions, the leaves get rid of the excess water from the plants, and this will be known as the transpirations. So excess amount of the waters, if the root of this plant will absorb the high amount of the waters, then the excess water can be evaporated from the leaves, and the evaporation of the water from leaves will be known as the transpirations. So you have to remember that transpiration is the process of evaporations from the leaves. And third functions, leaves carry out the process of the respirations. As we know, the plants also require some the respirations. They also produce the energy. And how they will be produce energy? When they will be reciprate. Reciprate help in the produce energy. So respirations, that will be done by the leaves plants. Okay, and this is the function of the leaves. So I think you got the meaning of it. What are the major function of the leaves? Here you will be see how the leaves of the plant will be make their food. As we know, that is a process known as the photosynthesis. So what will be the generally happen in the photosynthesis? The carbon dioxide gas that are present in the atmospheres, that will be absorbed by the plant's leaves, and water that are absorbed by the root of the plants. When the both things, waters and the carbon dioxide, when they will be combined up in the presence of the sunlight and in the presence of chlorophyll, the foods will be made by the plants, and oxygen will be released out from the photosynthesis process. So this is the simple process of the photosynthesis. What is happening here? The plant's leaves is using or combining the carbon dioxide and the waters, and they are making the food substance and releasing out the oxygen. That will be known the photosynthesis. If you will be make the process of by which green plants use the sunlight to making their food by using the carbon dioxide and water. This process known as the photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the same process like जैसे हम खाना बनाते हैं, same process fruits जो plants है वो भी अपना खाना बनाते हैं, and this process is known as the photosynthesis. There are conditions is given. Water is absorbing from the roots and carbon dioxide getting from the atmospheres, and these leaves will be getting the sunlight, and they have get the proper amount of the proper conditions. So definitely they will be make the photosynthesis, they will be make the food substance. You have to remember the evaporation of the water from the leaves of plant, that will be called the transpirations. So I think you get the meaning of it. Now we will be see the different type of the venations. So venations of the plants, we will be classify them into the two groups. One is the reticulate venations and parallel venations. I think you know what is the venations? Venation is the arrangement of the vein. Arrangement of the vein in the lamina. So if I give you the two veins, if I show you one veins and second, one leaf and second leaves. So in the both leaves you will be see the different structures of the venations. Their venations, every veins, this is the mid veins, and this is the some supportive veins. So they have not a proper arrangement. But in this venations you will be see this is the mid veins, and they have all the veins in a particular arrangement. They all are in the parallel forms. So when you will be see the another veins are in the parallel forms, they will be known the parallel venations. But if they are not in the parallel, they will be known the reticulate veins. If I show you some structures, then you will be get the meaning of it like this. This structures will show the reticulate venations because this is the mid veins and this is the some supportive veins. They have not a proper arrangement. They have not a proper sequence. But in this case, you will be see this is the mid veins, and they have a large number of the parallel venations. So this is the example of the parallel venations. And I think you know that this is the leaf of the banana plant. So we can say banana plants has a parallel venations. Bamboo plants, sugarcane plants, wheat, paddy, maize, bajra, these plants have a parallel venations, like the pea, neem, mango, marigold, tulsi, mustard, sunflower, orange, they have a reticulate venations. So I think you got the meaning of it. And one thing is the common, you have to remember those plant which has a fibrous root. Fibrous means, I think you know that this is the plant and this is the structure of the root. So not those plants which do not have any proper sequence or tap roots. So these kind of the plants have a parallel venations, and tap roots means those plants which has a main roots. This is the main root and this is the plant structures. So main roots, I think you know the meaning of the tap roots. So those plants which has a tap roots, they have a reticulate venations. So I think you got the meaning of it and how we will be classify them. Parallel venation example is given: wheat, paddy, sugarcane, bamboo, barley, lily, banana, maize, millet. And the venations where you will be see the reticulates like the rose, China rose, corianders, tamarind, mustard, sunflower, orange. There are large number of the examples given. So I think it's clear to you. Now we will be see. I have already as discussed those plants which has a reticulate leaves, reticulate venations, they have a tap root, and those plants which has a parallel venations, they have a fibrous roots. Flower. We know the flower is the most beautiful part of the plant because it generally found in the different color. It may be the red, blue, green. Okay, so we know the different plant have a different type of the flowers, and they have a different size, shape, and the colors. And some flowers have a smell. So we have to remember that the flower is the part of the plants which contains the reproductive organs. And we will be discuss here, and we will have to know that the main function of the flower is to produce the fruit and the seeds. Plants will be converted into the fruits, as we know that the major function of this flower to just produce the fruit and the seeds. So firstly we will be see the part of the flowers. There you will be see the structure of the plants, part of the flowers. We will be generally classify them into the four group. One is the sepal, petals, stamen, and the pistils. So you will be see this is the sepal part, this is the petal parts, this is the stamen part, and this is the pistil parts. So you have to remember the sepals. Sepals are the green leaf-like part of the outermost of the circles of this flower, that will be known the sepals. Sepal are the just like leaf type the structures, leafy structures, okay, because they are the green in the part, and these are the just covered up, and they will be protect the petals. Well, it will not be the grow up. Suppose if flowers is not completely grow ups, so that will be protected by the sepals in the initial stage. After this will be grow, then the petals will be come out from the sepals, and they will be just look in these structures, okay, they will be just move back. And the second you will be see the petals. Petals are the, as we know, it is generally found in the different in colors. It may be the red, blue, green, and sometimes petals have some specific scent or natural fragment, okay, they have a smell, different kind of the smells or specific smells. And we have to remember that most of the times the petals and the sepals, both numbers are equal, but in some flowers they are not in the equal numbers, okay. Petals may be in the larger numbers, sepals may be in the small numbers. If you will be see the rose flowers, so rose flowers has only 4 or 5 sepals, and the petals you will be see the large number of the petals, maybe more than 10, 12, okay. So both are not equals. And there's you will be see the third part, the stamen. Stamen you will be see this is the stamen part of the plants, and that is known the male part of the plants or male part of the flowers, okay. So you have to remember this is the reproductive organs of the plants. So it contains the male part of the flowers as well as female part of the flowers. So you will be see this is the structure of the stamen. Stamens contains the two part. One is known the filament and second is known the anthers. So in this anther, there you will be see a swollen part, and this contains the pollen grains. Okay, and you know this is the pollen grains is known as the sex organs of a plants. Okay, this is the male part of the organs, and the second you will be see this is the mid part, and that is known as the pistils. Pistil is the female part of the plants. Okay, that contains also the some parts that is known the ovary, styles, and the stigma, and it contains some ovules. So ovules has some structures or some cells that is known the female part, and we know that that are the complete structures of the flowers. Now we will be see the fruit and the seeds. I think you know the fruit is generally made by the flowers. After some times flower will be converted into the fruit, and fruit is the protective layers, or we can say seed is protected by the fruits. So we will be see here there are some example is given. This is the apple is given here, and seed are inside this fruit. So seeds are always hidden in the fruit, or we can say fruit is the protective layer of the seeds. How the seed will be formed? We know seed, we can say this is the type of baby plant. We can say seed is a baby plants. After the sowing the seeds, they will be grown up into the plants. So we can say this is the baby plants. So how they will be formed? From the flowers. We know flower will be converted into the fruit after some times. So what will be exactly happens? There is a process is happen, and the name of process is pollination and the fertilizations. As we know, there are the two different parts. One is the stamens and second is the pistils. So stamens contain some pollen grains. Pollen grains are the very small tiny yellow type of the grains. Okay, so when these yellow type grains, they will be fall, or they will be transfer into the stigma of the pistils. When the pollen grains will be fall in the stigma of pistils, this process is known as the pollination. And how they will be filled? There are some factors. What are like the insect, maybe the factors wind and the waters. अगर हवा या पानी या फिर इंसेक्ट के थ्रू ये फॉल आउट हो जाते हैं. पॉलन ग्रेन्स किसमें? ये स्टिग्मा में, स्टिग्मा ऑफ pistils. This is the stigma. When the pollen grains will be fall in this stigma, then it will be known as the pollinations. And after the sometimes these pollen grains, they will be carried out down to this path through this styles, and they will be come under this ovary, and they will be combined up with the ovules. When they will be combined up with the ovules, this process is known as the fertilizations. And after the sometimes these ovules will be grow, and they will be become the seed. So after this process, during this process, this ovary, if you will be see, this is the part of the ovary that will be converted into the fruit, and these seeds, or we can say the pollen grains, they will be converted into the seeds. So you have to remember, this ovule part will be converted into the seeds, and this ovary part will be converted into the fruit. That is the whole process of the reproductions, how the seeds will be formed. I think we have complete here. Thank you, students.